Well, Warrior Digital, we're letting you learn about players on the team. Now, what don't we know about Steph Curry? How about an interview where we don't talk about basketball and find out about the guy himself? Where did the popcorn fascination come from? We were just at the Clippers arena, and they're like, Steph Curry helped pick the popcorn. Tell me about the popcorn fascination, devotion, expertise.
That's been a part of, I guess, the way I seen snacks and like, I don't know, no matter where I went, I always wanted to go see a movie just because I wanted to get the popcorn. It wasn't really about the entertainment. Used to have, I got it from my dad, I guess, because he used to have a lot of it growing up and I used to watch it and you smell it in the house, the whole deal. So then whenever I had free time, I'd have some. And then getting into the league and realizing that all the different teams put their popcorn in the locker room and I'd have a little bit before the game. Then I started ranking them, just having fun, and that became a story. All the way to Steve Ballmer asking me to give input on the Intuit Dome's popcorn offerings, which is pretty crazy. And they gave me, I guess, my own inspiration, popcorn when we went the first time, so it was cool.
On a random Wednesday, if you're at home, are you, hey, I got to have,
Yes.
you still have popcorn?
6 days a week at least.
Really?
Yeah, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem.
One of the things I'm assuming you got from your dad, but I don't know this, the fascination and devotion to golf.
Yeah.
And people know about you in golf. I think you might be the greatest hand-eye coordinated athlete we have going. Is golf all hand-eye? Is it learning from your dad? Is it wanting to be with your dad? Like, what's so special about golf in your life?
Well, it started as like a nice change of speed to basketball. I played basketball, baseball, football growing up till I was about 13. And then it was just basketball, and then golf was kind of, like I said, the change up. To the point of hand-eye coordination, it came naturally, so starting early, everybody who played golf when they were a kid, it's way easier to maintain no matter how much you're playing later in life. It's so hard to pick it up later in life. But the hand-eye coordination mattered. The competition of like your self-competition, it does matter who you're playing with, and like being in a foursome and that competition is great. But it's also, you're always measuring yourself against yourself, and I love that chase. And even at 36, I feel like I can still get a little bit better. And so that journey is always great. But then to your point, you always get to spend 4.5 pace of play. That's a problem. 4.5 hours on the course with your crew and whoever you want to be with. You get to know people really well out on the golf course, and I like to be outside, be in nature. It checks a lot of boxes, and blessed to be able to play.
It's a trite question. I'll throw it out anyway. Who would be the all-time Steph Curry golf foursome? You can only play one more round. Who's the other three people you have with you?
Ooh. Probably Dell Curry, Seth Curry, and President Barack Obama.
I like that group.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
solid.
Now, you took golf to a new level, though, in terms of inclusion and making it accessible to people, whether it be the Howard Golf Team, the Underrated Golf Tour. It became something where you're very passionate about. It's a great sport for a lot of the things you just delineated, but it's not available or accessible to everybody, so let's all work on making that better.
No, 100%. The Howard Golf opportunity was great because, like you talked about, it's a vehicle to higher education. It was a club sport for a long time, and Otis Ferguson IV, who was a student at Howard when I went out on campus to do a screening for this other project that I was doing, he mentioned, hey, I want to get the Division I golf team back. And 2 years later, we were able to do it and get it fully funded on both the men's and women's side, develop scholarships through the game. And that's kind of like the North Star. We want more representation, more black and brown athletes on all professional golf tours getting paid to play that game. But in the meantime, if we can create a pipeline for kids who have not had that access before, that's kind of where the underrated golf tours come in, not only domestically but internationally. For me, I was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. Like, what is a 3-star? What are the 3 stars in golf that create, a promising future? And equity, access, and opportunity are a big part of that. And so that's what we're trying to do through the tour. Growing pretty crazy so far. It's been an awesome experience, and have created meaningful impact for kids through the game. So that's going to be a lifelong journey for me.
Mentioned kind of the hand-eye coordination. You good at ping pong?
I'm average, a little bit above average.
Would you be a good F1 racing driver?
See, you striking my competitive nerve. I feel like I could be good at anything if I worked at it, but I don't know if I have that nerve coming around a corner at whatever speeds they be doing. That'd be a different experience.
Are there any hand-eye things that you're not good at? Or that you struggle with?
I need to go holler at Pat Spencer about handling, lacrosse. I have no idea what to do with that thing. I'm sure there's plenty of things that are not top of mind right now that I'm not good at, but I just won't do those things.
Can Steph Curry sing?
I can hold a unimpressive note, but no, I can't sing. Like, there's a lot of better singers in my family.
Go-to karaoke song, though, if you were out with the family or the friends?
Because
everybody knows their own range. They know where they can.
Neo, So Sick. And then if I do know my range, but it's also just the crowd favorite. Everybody loves it. And usually at the end of the night, you go a little Journey. Don't Stop Believing.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Fame. People think it'd be great to be famous. There are perks to it.
Yeah.
But how is it on traveling during the season or just in your personal life where I could sit at home and I'm with my family and friends and it's okay, but we could go to dinner, go to a movie, go to a sporting event, and all that may entail from people well-meaning, but still the fame is part along for the ride. Explain that to the average person, just what's that like on a day-to-day basis?
It's weird talking about it just because it's a very surreal feeling knowing that I've been playing this game that I love and what has come from that. Like you said, there's a lot of blessings and benefits. You struggle for the anonymity when you might want it. Just knowing, like you said, whether you want to go out and do something with your family. It's a couple extra steps you need to take to make sure you can actually enjoy yourself and keep your peace of mind. And, I'm one, when I see a fan or somebody comes up, like, as long as I'm not, with my family and this is our time, like, I'm usually pretty good at being able to say hello or have that moment. But you do need a little space and boundaries, and it's kind of, an interesting experience, I'll put it that way, where, where life is at right now. But thankfully, I'm a homebody in general, so home is my happy place, and, at least I can, find peace there, and, the space to make sure I'm taking care of mine and my family. But yeah, it's different, and didn't expect it, didn't search for it, but I know how to balance it.
All right, I've known you for 16 years, so the change, there are two things you wanted to do in the summer that now would be impossible, but you need to tell people why you wanted to do these. One of them was you wanted to be an Uber driver for one night.
I signed
Until
up
I told
for
you
sure.
you could not do that. But why would you want to be an Uber driver, and how do you think that would go?
I'd be a nice 5-star Uber driver for sure. Make sure you're taking care. It's like a good point guard on the court. We're gonna get to where we're trying to go and make sure everybody's happy along the way. I made it all the way to submitting all the background license checks in order to get certified, and then I left it there. I'd probably still have my profile up.
What vehicle would you pick people up in?
That's a fantastic question. I'd probably go back to the first car that I got, was a Chevy Equinox. I don't even know if they make them anymore, but that'd probably be my choice. Uber X, let's go.
The other one was, in the summer, you were thinking about being a center fielder on a slow pitch softball team.
That's still the dream.
And Joe Lacob and then Bob Myers, Mike Dunleavy would lose their mind if that was. But what was it about just a Tuesday night beer league playing center field on a slow pitch softball team?
So that's another thing for my dad. I used to go to his games. He retired from playing when I was 12, and so for the rest until I graduated high school, he would play in Charlotte. There's this place called the Hornets Nest, and they had a bunch of baseball or softball fields. And once a week, maybe twice a week, we go watch him. And I played baseball, so I love it. Played on the intramural softball team in college. that is still the dream, to get out there, play either like shortstop or third base, maybe center field. Depending on what league it is, hit as many dingers as possible and have some fun with it.
Is it fun if you drop the kids off? Maybe in the Bay it doesn't happen, but in the summer it might, where you go somewhere, breakfast, whatever, and you're not recognized? Even if it's for a half hour, an hour, do you enjoy that?
I do know my spots I can go where I can be real incognito and yeah, just have a normal experience, I guess if you say that, for sure. I appreciate those moments, or appreciate if you have an interaction with somebody, whether they're acting or not, I don't know, but whether they ask me, or introduce themselves and don't know who I am or what basketball is, that is kind of refreshing at times.
Did you get that at all in Europe? I know you vacation sometimes in foreign countries. Is that somewhere where you can go and you and Ayesha can have some time where it isn't initially a crush as it might be in the States?
It depends, which is kind of like a weird tooting your own horn type vibe. It's becoming harder and harder to find those spots, but like I said, we know how to move in a certain way where we can try to control as much as we can. And like anything, you want to be able to have a good time with your, with my wife and my family or my people that, you want to spend time with and not have too many distractions around, and try to take all those things in consideration when we're on the move.
Draymond Green was asked about you. There's a lot of young players in the league coming up to you and asking for advice and just wanting to meet you, and you're like, I'm approachable, come up to me. Andre Iguodala recently said, I try to be Steph Curry every day and I fail. I can't live like him. What's it like to have your peers and contemporaries see this aura about you, or just the way you are and the way you handle yourself? They appreciate it, they respect it, they admire it, and that's rare. A lot of times when people achieve success, people want to kick them in the shins and bring them down. You're celebrated and kind of lifted up by the people around you.
Man, I take those compliments, seriously, and especially from the people that you know and that you've gone to war with or, grown up with. And I know there's that saying, like, people will forget half the things you told them or say to them, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And like that to me is a big barometer just on, how I want to live my life and the values that I try to ascribe to, and being as consistent as possible. There's no such thing as perfect. Like, the idea that I'm some saint in this whole kind of vibe of life. Like, I'm still learning like everybody else, but I do have an appreciation for people. I try to treat them, the best way I can. I try to have a reasonable mindset of, I love playing basketball. I've been blessed with so much success. It doesn't change who I am. And, being a father, being a husband, like, that's more what I want to be known for, off the court. And so how do you handle life, and how do you handle relationships, and how do you continue to grow through that all? So it just so happens I'm kind of on a stage, and have been for the last 16 years. So I appreciate it all. Those are my guys, and the way that they talk about me, it means a lot, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Being a dad, the baby names, 2 R's, 2 C's. Was that intentional? Was it something that you talked about? All the Curry children are S's.
Yes.
Okay, so what's...
There's a theme there. Ayesha doesn't have that on her side. But we thought, so when we first got pregnant, Ayesha, for our first child, we thought it was a boy at first. So Cannon was always a name that we just liked.
Okay.
But then we found out it was a girl. Riley was our name of choice. We wanted to keep the consistency with the R's, and that's where Ryan came from. And then when we found out we were having a boy, it was an automatic Cannon. I blessed the name, or his middle names, after my granddad, paying honor to him. And then any parents out there, like, naming kids is hard. You get hard down. You have 9 months to figure it out, and even with Caius, I think we were 4 or 5 days in before we actually got to.
Is that right?
Yeah,
what were you calling him for the 4 days?
He was just baby boy right here, sitting next to her in the bassinet. But yeah, it's special, and blessings, and the fact that they all have their own individual personality and are making themselves known to the family. And one day at a time is great.
Who in your family calls you Wardell, or who in your life calls you Wardell?
Gary Payton II calls me Wardell literally every time he sees me. He's rubbing off on BP Pods, who's now slowly starting to call me that from time to time. Nobody in my family does.
Really?
It's a weird deal. Coach McKillop was the only one that used to call me Steph until I got into the league, and now that's kind of like, it's either, Steph, Wardell, and Stephen's like way down the list. Now people call me 30, so it's like my name's becoming
You're
less
going to be like
and
Prince,
less.
you're going to become a symbol eventually, is that the deal?
So yeah, but the family, they all call me Steph, and it's just, from childhood.
Finish with, we did fame a little bit, but people talk about platform, and I look at it as you can use fame for good. That's a simple way. And Eat, Learn, Play is so important to you and Ayesha, and it's not just lip service. Like, it's all around the Bay. It's kids everywhere. It's a relentless events and funding and all that. That can't be something you dip your toe in. That's something that you got to be full force. What was that idea of, I have this platform, but I got to do it for kids, and I got to make a whole difference in generations and stuff?
Yeah, it's been a long journey of service, and that mentality has been instilled in me since I was a kid. My dad used to do computer learning centers in inner city Charlotte, and me and our whole family, we used to do food drives and holiday sponsoring of families and things like that. So I was always ingrained that, how do you leverage the blessings in your life to give back in a meaningful way? And it doesn't matter whether it's through the entire Oakland Unified School District, which is what Eat, Learn, Play is doing now, or whether you can do a small gesture for somebody. Like, that whole spectrum, it all matters. And so trying to live that out is important. We've been blessed, me and Ayesha, over the course of the last 16 years being here in the Bay, to build our network, build a focus and a clarity around how we want to help in authentic ways to us. And so from the work that Ayesha used to do with No Kid Hungry and trying to eradicate, childhood hunger, to work that I've been doing in terms of active, healthy lifestyles and creating, programs and safe spaces for kids to go play and build community. That, and my mom being a lifelong educator in terms of, literacy. So those three pillars were authentic to us. And, now that we're planting our flag in Oakland, it's our adoptive home. It's where I, played in front of the best fans in the world for those 10 years, even now, still having a presence there. So, and then now, like, where do you find the most impact with kids, and the amount of kids that are in Oakland Unified School District, and the ways that we're going to meet them where they are, where they go to eat, learn, and play every single day. And I'm excited about, the fact that this has been a rewarding experience. We've had so many people come along this journey with us, and only 5 years in now, we have set ourselves up for meaningful impact in the future.
Finish with, do you ever get tired of talking about yourself?
No, I want to do this interview every day. We'll come back same time tomorrow, and we'll knock it out. No, I'm blessed, man. I get to play basketball at a high level, do what I love to do in front of fans that have seen me from when I didn't have any facial hair to now the gray's popping out. So I'm just excited that, get to represent all of Dub Nation.